Why do you keep waiting for someone to notice your effort? Why do you look over your shoulder, hoping someone sees how hard you're trying? Somewhere deep inside, you're hoping the world will stop, point, and say, "Look at how strong you are." But the truth is, most of the time, that recognition never comes. And even when it does, it's short. Fleeting. It disappears as quickly as it arrives. So why place your energy in being noticed, when you could place it in becoming? Why do we crave applause from people who barely know us, or don't care? It's human nature to want approval. From childhood, we are conditioned to seek praise. Gold stars. Applause. A smile when we do something right. But as adults, many still carry that same need, now dressed in likes, views, and compliments. But ask yourself this: do those who cheer for you actually understand your struggle? Would they carry your burden if you asked them to? The truth is, their applause doesn't last, and often, it doesn't even matter. What matters is what you say to yourself when the crowd is gone. What happens if that recognition never comes? Will you quit your journey if nobody notices your steps? Will your fire die because no one is warming their hands at it? Or will you learn to walk for the sake of the walk itself? You see, the Stoics understood this well, that external approval is uncertain, unreliable, and outside our control. So they focused on what was internal. Their will. Their virtue. Their choices. Will you? There's something powerful about doing the work in silence. There's a sacred kind of strength that comes from not broadcasting your every move. Not because you're hiding, but because you're focused. Because you understand that your energy is better spent becoming than proving. When you work in silence, there's less pressure to perform and more space to grow. You create from a place of truth, not for attention, and that makes everything you do more real, more grounded, and more lasting. No announcements. No status updates. No begging for attention. You don't need to post your every effort. You don't need a day one post every time you start something. Sometimes, the most powerful moves are made without a sound. The quiet workout. The hidden study session. The lonely night rewriting your goals. There is dignity in keeping your progress to yourself. That's not secrecy. That's self-respect. Just quiet, focused, persistent action. Every single day. Success doesn't come from one massive leap. It comes from the tiny steps that nobody sees. The effort you put in on the days you feel broken. The discipline you show when no one would judge you for quitting. Persistence, especially in silence, is where the real transformation happens. That's where you build not just skills, but character. Most people want quick rewards. They want to be recognized without the struggle. They want success without process. But they forget, the process is the very thing that makes the reward meaningful. If you skip the grind, you rob yourself of the person you could have become along the way. So while the world chases shortcuts, you take the stairs, slow, painful, honest. They want to post one photo and get 100 likes. We've grown addicted to performance. To instant validation. A single moment captured, posted, and judged. But a picture isn't progress. A video isn't victory. These are just snapshots, they don't tell the full story. They don't show the setbacks, the tears, the days you nearly gave up. But that's where the real strength lives, in what no one sees. They want to show up once and be celebrated. But greatness doesn't come from a single act. It comes from showing up again and again, even when the audience is gone. True success is often quiet and lonely. It looks like doing your best when no one is asking you to. It looks like keeping your word when no one would know if you didn't. And that's what makes it pure. That's what makes it yours. They want to be seen, before they've even done the real work. The world celebrates image more than substance. People want the title without the responsibility. But Stoicism reminds us, don't be distracted by appearances. Focus on who you're becoming. Focus on the roots, not just the fruit. Because when the storm comes, and it will, only deep roots will keep you standing. But deep down, you know this path is different. You know that lasting change takes more than showing up once. It takes discipline, repetition, silence. It takes doing things the hard way, the long way, the honest way. And even though that road can be painful, there's a strange peace in it. Because it's real. It's yours. You know that anything worth having takes time. Growth doesn't happen overnight. Character is carved, not given. Just like a tree doesn't sprout into strength in one season, your journey will take time, setbacks, renewals, long winters, quiet springs. But every day you show up, even in small ways, you build. You rise. You become. It takes effort that no one will clap for. There are no standing ovations for waking up at 5 a.m. to train. No trophies for turning down comfort. No applause when you choose growth over pleasure. But those are the moments that build you. Quietly. Steadily. Completely. It takes sacrifice that no one will thank you for. You'll miss events. Lose friends. Spend nights alone. You'll wonder if it's worth it. And still, you'll carry on. Not because anyone told you to, but because something inside you refuses to settle. Something inside you knows that peace is earned, not given. That's why Stoicism teaches this: build in silence. Do the work without needing attention. Push yourself without needing praise. And when the results come, when they finally appear, they will speak for themselves. You won't need to explain. Your life will be the proof. Grow in stillness. Stop looking outside for noise. The quiet moments, your early mornings, your late-night reflections, your private journals, that's where growth happens. That's where the inner self strengthens. Stillness is not weakness. It's power under control. Move forward without noise. Don't waste time announcing every step. Let your momentum build quietly. Let your results speak. You're not in competition. You're on a mission, your own mission, and that doesn't require public approval. The loudest people often have the least depth. They make noise to cover up what they lack. But true depth doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to be seen. It simply is. You'll find that the people who've done the deepest work are often the ones who speak the least, and move the most. But the silent ones? They are watching. They don't show off. They don't need to. They study, listen, absorb. They move quietly, but with purpose. Their silence isn't emptiness. It's preparation. They are studying. They are sharpening their minds. Watching what others miss. Learning from every failure, every conversation, every small moment. Because they know, when the time comes to act, they'll be ready. They are building. And when they rise, it's not hype. It's not luck. It's not overnight success. It's the result of years of quiet effort. The invisible hours. The unshared progress. And that is what makes it unshakable. Ask yourself, who are you when nobody's watching? Who are you when the spotlight is off, when there are no likes, no eyes on you, no one expecting anything? What do you do when there's no applause waiting? That version of you, the one behind closed doors, that's the truest version. That's the self that Stoicism wants you to strengthen. Not the one performing for the world. The one working for inner mastery. When no one is impressed. When your best efforts are ignored. When you've poured your soul into something and not a single person says, "Well done." How do you respond? Do you fall apart? Or do you smile quietly and keep going? That moment reveals everything. Because it's easy to be strong when you're praised. But to be strong without recognition, that's uncommon. That's noble. When your efforts are unnoticed, that's where character is born. It's forged in the unseen sacrifices. In the early mornings and lonely nights. In the hard choices no one applauds. If you can keep going when no one sees you, then you've truly begun to master yourself. That's who you truly are. Not the mask. Not the curated version. Not the profile or the brand. The real you is the one who keeps moving, keeps building, keeps holding the line, even when no one cares. That's the foundation of real power. A power that can't be taken away. The truth is, most of your progress won't be Instagram-worthy. You won't always be able to package it in a photo. Some days, progress looks like not quitting. Like showing restraint. Like walking away from something easy but wrong. These things don't trend. They don't go viral. But they change you, deeply, permanently. It won't look good in a post. Because real transformation is messy. It's raw. It's not glamorous. It doesn't come with filters or fancy captions. It often looks like frustration, failure, and trying again. And that's okay. You're not here to look good, you're here to grow. It won't get claps or likes. And yet, it might be the most important thing you do. That decision you made not to give up today. That invisible act of self-discipline. It may not earn you followers, but it earns you freedom. The kind of freedom that comes from knowing, deeply, that you can trust yourself. It might even go unnoticed completely. And still, you must do it. Because you're not doing this for validation. You're doing it for your future self. For the peace that only comes from integrity. For the quiet strength that nobody can see, but you can feel. But that doesn't mean it's not working. Progress doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers. It grows slowly. Quietly. And just because no one sees it doesn't mean it isn't transforming you. Don't confuse silence with stagnation. Change is happening, deep below the surface. That doesn't mean it's not changing you. In fact, those unseen moments often change you the most. The nights you endure. The mornings you push through. They build resilience. Mental toughness. A kind of internal armor. And one day, you'll realize, the silence was never empty. It was building you. Waking up early when your bed is warm. That's strength. That moment when comfort pulls at you, and you say, no, when you leave the warmth to chase something bigger. That's more than just a routine. That's evidence of discipline. That's you choosing long-term growth over short-term ease. Working late while others relax. That's discipline. It's not about grinding endlessly. It's about choosing to finish what you started. To honor your own word. To delay pleasure because your vision matters more. That kind of discipline is rare and powerful. Starting over after failure, without complaining. That's real power. To fall and rise without drama. To face defeat without losing dignity. That's a strength the world doesn't understand. But Stoicism does. It calls this virtue. It calls this living by principle, not mood. But still, we ask, what if nothing changes? What if we give everything, and still feel stuck? What if we keep pushing, and there's no breakthrough? These questions come to all of us. And they're fair. They're human. But maybe we're asking the wrong question. And the answer? Something already has changed. Look in the mirror. You're not the same. You're showing up differently. You're thinking more clearly. You're reacting with less emotion. That's growth. That's transformation. Even if the outside looks the same, the inside is shifting. You're not the same person you were when you started. The fact that you're even watching this video proves it. You're seeking growth. You're paying attention to what matters. That alone separates you from most. That alone is a sign that the work is taking root. Look closer. Progress isn't always loud. But if you stop and truly observe your habits, your thoughts, your ability to stay calm, you'll see it. You'll feel it. You'll recognize you're becoming stronger, even if the world hasn't noticed yet. You're stronger. Not because you haven't struggled, but because you have. And still, you rise. Still, you endure. That's the kind of strength no one can give you, and no one can take away. You're more focused. You don't get distracted as easily. You've started saying no to things that drain you. You're beginning to honor your time. That's growth. That's clarity. That's the power of silent discipline at work. You've built discipline when others gave up. Others quit. They stopped showing up. But not you. You stayed. Even when it hurt. Even when it was silent. And in doing so, you proved something to yourself: you're not like everyone else. You don't need noise. You just need purpose. That's the reward. The growth. The self-respect. The peace. That's the true reward of this silent journey. And in the end, it will mean more than any applause ever could. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, if you've ever walked the quiet road of self-discipline and silent growth, then let this be your reminder that you're not alone. Like this video if it gave you strength. Share it with someone else who's on their silent journey. Comment below and tell us how you've been pushing yourself in silence. Your story might inspire someone else. And if you want more wisdom like this to stay grounded, grow stronger, and live with purpose, subscribe to the channel. This is only the beginning.